just saw a movie called Cloud Atlas,
Uh-huh.
and it was about other lifetimes, basically.
Yes.
And
Hooray.
yeah, I love that they're actually kind of planting that seed in people, because I could, kind of feel some people may have not really known what was going on, because they're showing back and forth different lifetimes in the same groups of people.
Yes.
And that I love that in the work we do here that you can really experientially go in and perceive. And I think the point of the movie, one of the points was that you can really get that you go on beyond the constrictions. You may repeat similar themes, but you go on and you have the choices. And I was just wondering if you could talk about that more.
Well, the going on could take lifetimes, or it can be from one instant to another.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty and, again, the magic of life. In other words, at any moment you can be enlightened. It isn't that you have to try all your life. It's that, again, as we were talking about before, karma ripens. And there is this critical mass where it comes together, and suddenly there's a point of illumination. And that catapults you to the next octave. So you might take a theme, maybe it's the theme of the victim, and play that theme again and again through many incarnations of the soul. Maybe not consecutively. You might throw in a little being the victimizer in there somewhere. But you might again and again and again deepen that groove. It's being done to me, it's not my fault, I'm innocent, it's the other guy, etc., until at some point you'll be kicked into the opposite point of reference of the hologram. And so it is ever-changing. What I love in our work that's always been magical for me is that when someone is looking at a lifetime, we're always saying, and are these people anyone you've ever known or met in this lifetime? And they are always people that you've known. Sometimes it's somebody that you knew as a kid, you haven't thought about them in 20 years, you could care less, and suddenly they are the protagonist of some lifetime that you're having. So it's not how long we're together, it's not the way we rub up against each other particularly, it's the flash. It's the flash that occurs in magnetism and the attraction of potential and point of reference that causes us to go down a path or a theme in a lifetime. And so there is always an evolutionary motion. Even if we're in a groove, at some point there will be something that kicks us out of that groove and gives us the opposite, or the next, or the next, or the next, and the next, until we've moved around a hologram and really seen many, many potential aspects of that, so that illumination comes to us. Mm-hmm. So that we realize that we are all parts. We're the victim, the victimizer. We're all parts in the play. And that's when the power of choice comes in. And so I love that movies are beginning to whisper that, because we need that information now. The truth is that we need, because we're so entrapped in our bodies and entrapped in our cultures and whatever we think is true, that we're stagnating. Of course, I think we're trembling at the precipice, really. We're about to be pushed off the edge here, be it by galactics, be it by time, be it by whatever it is, that will expand the potential there. And so when we can see that there is a pattern to something, then we can quicken the evolution of it. Because all sentient beings have experiences, and then they build something on that. And you might build a conclusion that says, well, this is the way it is. And then another couple of lifetimes will come along, and you'll see that your conclusion was not big enough. It didn't allow truth that you're experiencing now. And so I love the way it dovetails. People we've known in other lifetimes are playing the same roles or the opposite roles than they played in those lifetimes. So this is a pivotal point, and that's why we're doing this work. For people to have access to their galactic DNA, have access to themselves as powerful beings, have access to themselves as pure spirit. without all the folderol that we humans create. I love the way one of the big theories today is that we have a parallel universe, a parallel planet. It's just because humans just can't stand it if they don't have something to bump up against. You know, what would happen? This is why I did the Light Institute in Galisteo, because you can step outside and you can see as far as you can see. So nothing comes up to block that. The winds will carry you, the sky will carry you here. And we need that on the planet. We need to not only reinvent ourselves by our emotional needs, but because we have not only inklings or an intuition of other potentials or other stories within us, but that we can actually bring them into, and here's the kicker, bring them into manifestation and then dissolve them, so that they don't pull us back into what we think is enlightenment, what we think is good, what we think is powerful, but that they simply add to all of the equation, to all of the infinite stuff we have stirred in the pot. So it's a very good time, and I love doing it myself. You know, you're never done. You're never done looking at the incarnations of your soul and what that shows you. And so it's exciting that they're doing it in movies, and let's do it ourselves. In the beginning, when I started doing it in this format, I used to gather up everybody's stories, and I thought one day somebody will put them all on computer. And then they started getting mold and stacks and boxes, and so one day I burned them all. But imagine the infinite stories that we've heard here of magnificence, of potential, of beyond magic that people come up with, and then they say, I couldn't possibly have come up with that myself. And yet there it is. This is what we need now. We need those kind of stories.
I just wanted to add something about your movie experience with that particular film of different lifetimes, that the life of Pi is totally incredible. It's magical.
I have to see it.
It's a transformative movie. Thank God we have movies like that.
Absolutely, and let us make them, dear one.
Yes.
You know, right now I'm leaving in 2 days, and I'm going to do, and I was thinking, because some of you have joined me, I haven't done it in years, but I'm going to Brazil to do a 1-day intensive for very powerful women, many of whom are actresses, and my higher self is having so much fun, because it's going to be a very intense day. But one of the conversations that I was massaging this afternoon as I was thinking about it is that, let's say you play in a movie or on television, and millions, multi-millions of people see it in Brazil, and you are the tragic one, or the scheming one, or the whatever one you are. How can you use that portrayal in some way that will illuminate people? You know, I always say to the actresses I work with, just remember that as you project, because that's lesson number 1 for any kind of actor, to project into that camera, that whatever role you're playing, you could be projecting something else. You could be projecting something that touches the heart of someone. You know, usually it starts out with, yeah, that happened to me too. You know, the other guys are the bad guys. That happened to me too. But at some point there could be some kind of transformation of that. So, whatever the story is, you know, I'm looking for the way that that story can have the little twist, whether it's an obvious twist or not, but that it is an energy that moves out, you know, a transference of energy that allows some kind of shift to occur. So it's going to be very interesting for me to see what happens that day. But I'm thinking about it because I thought, why am I doing it over there? I should be doing it here as well. So I may come home and You may get emails from me saying, come on, let's get together and have a day. And let me bring back whatever comes to me over there from my higher self, or from all those very, very powerful Brazilian women. So whatever arena, and this is the thing that I think is so important, whatever arena we're playing in, there is no arena that doesn't touch the highest energy. Whether it's tragic, whether it's negative, whether it's drug-induced, whatever it is, it can never be separate from cosmic divinity, cosmic source. And so that in itself could make life much more fun.
It's very reassuring.
Absolutely. Absolutely.